Live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. By the way, today is the first day of the year when the sun starts streaming into the office at just the right angle, making it nice and warm. Had to water the bromeliads earlier. They're all blossoming, so they're McLovin' it. We're going to get to some news and a little bit of bants as well. And talk about immigration, of course. Trump pausing immigration from a number of countries. I will go through the actual list. There's a full ban on immigration from a few countries. There's a partial, more or less ban from some others. It's funny. Many of these are not majority Islamic nations. Supposedly, the last time that Donald Trump did something like this, it was Islamophobia, or, it's really a buzz term. But we'll be talking about that. I will be talking about the possibility of land action against Venezuela. I happen to oppose that. I am no fan of the Maduro regime. I think that everyone knows that. I oppose communism, and Maduro is a retarded bus driver who should not be leading a nation. That being said, it doesn't mean that the U.S. direct involvement is necessarily a good idea. Sounds like a bad idea to me. We can look at recent U.S. history for several examples of this. We've got the revival of Reefer madness. I'll be talking about that. I did already cover it the other day, and I believe it was the New Tech exclusive, but it doesn't really make a difference. I would like to cover it again because it's just so ridiculous. I get tired of the drug war. People smoke weed. Oh my God. Also, we're going to talk about the Hong Kong high-rise fire. I believe the death toll is now above 170. They're not going to be able to recover all the bodies because when you get immolated that much, you might just literally be a pile of ashes. So they're going to have to scoop the bones out and figure out how many people died, I suppose. The only reason that I'm covering that is because communists do not apparently understand fire control. And because the court that was actually burned to the ground is called Wang Fuck. No, seriously, it's called Wang Fuck. I looked it up when I saw that story. I'm like, what? What am I reading here? I understand that Wang Fuck doesn't mean the same thing in Eastern Europe as it would, to us. But that's pretty much the only humorous aspect of the story. Also, we've got an underwater parking lot of ancient canoes preserved for millennia. Yes, indeed. If wood is sunk deep enough, it tends not to decompose very rapidly. So, I don't know, you could probably still, some of them, based on the pictures, you could probably still repurpose them and actually use them. This is thousands of years old, so interesting science story, actually. Yeah, I'm having a great time today. Not only did Anton send me a bunch of biscuits and stuff, anytime Anton is mentioned, we've got to crack open the new bulb, right? Yes, indeed. Anytime Anton is mentioned. Too salty, he would say. He will be wrong. Just saying. Today will be a little bit more of a flippant day. Also, tomorrow is probably going to be a snow day. And that plastic doesn't want to come off for any reason. Damn it. Well, whatever. I'm just going to be eating it anyway. I'll take care of it later. Super Kyle. Yeah, the dirty finger. Delicious. Sassmaster, what's your take on the blackpilling about if Dems win in 28 that they're going to go ham on Trump and his supporters? Oh, they will, but they're not going to win in 28. However, they will almost certainly be victorious in the midterms. It would be very, very strange at this point. We'll be talking about Republican dysfunction. In fact, let's get to that first. The GOP doesn't know what the hell it's doing right now. Mike Johnson is completely inefficient. The Senate Republicans, they don't really know what they're doing. So Trump is in the unenvious position where he has to deal with a Congress that technically his party controls, but it's a razor-thin majority, and he can't get him to do anything. Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning specifically because Mike Johnson keeps tabling things. Okay, you've got a mandate. You got voted for. Wonderful. That's real helpful, as long as you actually do something. But he's not doing anything. Of course, she blames Trump more than Mike Johnson, which is unfair. But Mike Johnson, at the very least, who looks like the sort of person that you don't want in the locker room, he won't do anything. Republicans have the votes to pass so much legislation, but they won't pass any of it. Well, that's his fault. It's not Trump's fault. The GOP is fucking useless. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing, actually, most of the time. It's rather sad because some of those ideas that at least Trump was pushing, like 230 reform and stuff, are really great ideas. They're like A-plus material, but they never actually get through the House. Oh well. Haha. Mark Rudkin. Sticks eats like a North African. Yeah, no, only with Bovrite. I typically use cutlery, but you don't need that for Bovrite. You can smear it on toast, and you can also use it as a very good base for a beef stew. Trust me, I've done it before. Let's get to the first story, and then we'll get to our sponsors. Donald Trump has passed a partial ban, and in some cases, effectively a full ban, on immigration and travel from certain countries in the world. Here's a list. Countries with a full ban in place are Afghanistan, Chad, Democratic Republic of the Congo, or the DRC. I get when authoritarian states exist, they always call themselves like a democratic republic. You know, like the DPRK and stuff. Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Those with a partial ban in place, some temporary visas are still allowed. Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. I support this fully. In fact, I wish that the ban went further and reduced those temporary visas as well. In my opinion, Trump's not even going in, hauling ass and going in hard enough. These are countries in which a large proportion of the population has been convinced that this nation is evil. Well, then, if they've been brainwashed into thinking the great Satan, the United States, is out to get them, and they're coming here, there's probably only two reasons why. Number one, they see through the bullshit, and they realize, no, the United States is not responsible for your nation sucking, and so you're coming to escape some sort of persecution or something, or to simply better your life. I don't have any disrespect for people like that. I don't care where they're from. But then there's a cohort of people, and this is why the bans are in effect, that do not like the United States. They're coming here to infiltrate, quite literally. Some people love to claim that it's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, no, the guardsman shootings never happened. No, nobody has ever come to this country with the express purpose of spying or assassinating or anything else under the sun. It's never happened before. Everyone who comes here just wants a better life. Well, the problem is the vetting process that was used by the prior administration does not seem to have worked in several cases. Just saying, it appears to have been ineffective. So I support this completely. Now, I am no enemy to people immigrating to the United States. I'm relatively centrist on this particular perspective. But that being said, if you have a country that is predominantly sending people into your country to kill, or to run drugs or traffic or something like that, why are you accepting immigrants from those countries? It's like if you're at war with another nation. Probably you don't want people from that other nation coming in unless there is a thorough vetting process. But if the last administration was completely incompetent, and it was, the vetting never actually happened. So Trump is pausing that presumptively to study the situation and try to figure out what the hell is going on. It makes sense, too. I mean, it's the right thing to do. The only purpose of the U.S. government is to represent U.S. citizens and lawful residents' interest. It's not incepted to take care of Somalians. It's not incepted to take care of people from Yemen. That's not the goal of the US government. It's not what it's paid to do. Apparently, people have forgotten that. Copium poppies. It is Trump's fault. He endorsed Johnson, a mistake, admittedly, and McCarthy before him for Speaker. It was no secret they are uniparty traitors. They made no secret of it. He had to be pragmatic under the situation, and I can understand that. That being said, I think that he should get rid of Mike Johnson as quickly as possible and force him out. And replace him with somebody who will actually do their job. I say this as a nonpartisan. Hello, Denaliu. Yo. Yeah, let's get to our sponsors really quickly before we get to the rest of the news. There's plenty of it. Trust me. There's no shortage of news today. It's a good Monday. We have, first and foremost, cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. I took the last one out of this pack, actually, this morning. They increase vitality. I take them every single day, and they are wonderful, actually. Also, we've got Doggy Dose, which I call Doggo Dose. Give it to your pupper, your pupperino. If it's a small dog, I think you might have to break the biscuits up a little bit. It's got 6 dual activated mushroom compounds in it. These ones, they have a wide variety of different mushroom extracts, actually. And they do work. I will attest to them personally. Not medical advice, just my opinion. Then we have BiltongUSA.com. Every time Anton or Biltong USA is mentioned, it's Bovrate tongue. Yeah. Too salty, he'll say. He sent me, by the way, a whole bunch of biscuits. Imported biscuits of various kinds. Some of them, I think I'm going to, smear some Bovrite on them, actually. I wonder if a lady's finger dipped in the Bovrite would be good. Probably not. They're a little bit on the sweet side for me. I may not be the one eating those. My mom really, really loves the lady fingers. Thank you, Anton, by the way. Also, he's got meat available. Wagyu, Cabanassi, Angus, bison, venison. Pretty much you name the animal, he's probably butchered it off and turned it into biltong of some sort. Also, Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts are available. And finally, jamandbean.com. Yeah, that is... smells good. That is jamandbean.com, where you can get Clanker Blend. That's the official coffee of the channel. He's got other coffees available as well, and also various teas, which are very, very good. You can literally put them through the coffee machine. You know, you have the filter and you make drip coffee. You can make tea that way too. I had tried it, and I figured maybe this will fail. Actually worked pretty well. So yes, jamandbean.com. The local Wendigo. Join the CCC today. The candy corn cult. Ugh. God damn it. I hate that candy corn has become one of the main channel memes. Like, I would rather you talk about my 10.2 or spoon clanking or something. Copium poppies. No, he didn't. Pragmatism is exactly why Republicans are trash. The left has no such limitation. Yeah, but then they tend to overreach. So, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point. The GOP and the Democrats are both a goddamn hot mess. But the GOP was handed, at the very least, reasonably, a mandate. What are they doing with it? Literally nothing. They've gotten a couple of things passed, and they aren't good, admittedly. Donald Trump generally is doing a good job, but he's completely incapacitated by the House. Speaking of jam and bean, by the way, green tea. Quintamojo is now a monthly supporter. Thank you very much, over on Rumble. Yeah, when I was looking at that particular story, I'm thinking it's a no-brainer. I'm going to support Trump on immigration. That's one thing on which he has really shined. That's one thing in which he's done a very good job. In some cases, I have reservations, like we're going to be talking about the possibility of airstriking Venezuela. That is not a good idea. Copium. We need Republicans to overreach against the left. That's why Trump got elected. Yeah, but the problem is if you overreach too much, then you get punished as a result of doing that. It's about balance. You have to make progress, which is not what Mike Johnson appears to be interested in doing. But if you go too far, then, I mean, look at what's happening. The courts are blocking most of what Trump is doing, so, yeah. If anything, we need judicial reform. Sassmaster, how do you foresee the immigration debate movement going to play out in the next 5 to 10 years in here in Western Europe? More deportations? Yeah, we're already seeing them here. As far as Europe goes, that's a little bit more up in the air, because it's sort of a patchwork, so it sort of depends on country. What do fuck? Sticks, if the candy corn zombies are your biggest problem, we are all doing well. Yeah, I know. It's a big problem. My doctor said I need to eat less pork and more bison and venison. Hello, Bill Tom. Yeah, get the bison one, trust me. You can take those shreds of bison meat, put them in a soup, or pretty much anything. They're really, really good. Had a sort of a noodle soup one time, Asian style, with like scallions and stuff. And there was some of the peri-peri, if I remember correctly, in there. Came out really, really well. Copium again. You only get punished if your overreach is unsuccessful. The courts have no enforcement power other than what Trump commands. Sadly, that's not the way that things work. Technically speaking, you are correct. Pragmatically speaking, that's unfortunately not the truth. Harrison Bergeron. Use the ladyfingers to make tiramisu with the jam and bean coffee. Hey, that's not a bad idea, actually. I wouldn't eat it because it'd be too sweet for me, but other people might like it. Trump says U.S. land action against alleged drug trafficking networks in Venezuela will start very soon. I happen to oppose this basic premise. By the way, my mouse stopped working. Sometimes the connector decides to fuck off under the wheels of a bus. It's very, very sad when that happens. This is not a good idea. Hegseth is being investigated in a bipartisan manner. You know, again, the Republicans will take action against Hegseth, but they won't take action against all of the weird stuff that the Democrats are doing. Showing their great intelligence, by the way. As far as this goes with Venezuela, I think we should just torpedo the fucking boats. I mean, our Navy and Air Force are more than capable of taking care of business. Well, if they're not able to traffic anything, why the hell would you want to do airstrikes in Venezuela itself? At that point, the only point that you would be making is basically, hey, we can attack you in your own country, ha ha ha, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, that's funny. I mean, in a movie sense, if it were part of a Hollywood movie, it'd be interesting. But real, actual people will die. The problem, when you conduct an airstrike on a cartel location and innocents die, that's going to be a real big diplomatic incident. So I oppose it. I'm anti-war. That would be an act of war at that point. Blowing the boats out of the water, in my opinion, and in international opinion, unless you happen to be in the European Union, I suppose, big thorn in the United States side, is not an act of war. International waters, you're clearly coming here with the intent to violate our laws. What the hell? Why not blow them out of the water? That's perfectly fine. Like, Hegseth is being investigated right now by Congress. One of the few things that they're actually trying to do, which is hysterical. Because he apparently, supposedly, ordered a secondary strike on a boat in which there were several survivors. I do not care, because they were trafficking drugs into the United States. And I don't even support the drug war. But I do not care if a bunch of Venezuelan narco members get bullseyed, because drugs aren't the only thing that they're involved in. Trafficking networks, assassinations, violent crime in general. Fuck them. I don't give a shit. Honestly. I like how the Democrats are proclaiming that all of a sudden they're very virtuous. But only if it's on behalf of people who are illegally coming to our country to sell drugs. Those people must be sacrosanct. American citizens, they can screw themselves, according to the Democrats. Copium poppies. You only... Oh, I already read that one. Derp. Wait, did you post it twice? Oh, no, you didn't. Okay. Yeah. It dragged it to the bottom. Sometimes that happens on Rumble. Its commenting system is not necessarily 100% all the time. Let's see. Yeah. Tiramisu with ladies' fingers. It could work. I can see how that could be made. I've actually got to do scalloped potatoes later with extra onion, by the way. Haha, Daniel Priceelf. Lucifer means light bearer, not dumbass in a query pirate outfit trying to be some sad fuck edgelord. Haha, screw yourself. I do like being an edgelord, admittedly. And I do like being a pirate. But I'm certainly not a sad fuck. I'll give you the others, though. Let's see. Oh yeah, Reefer Madness. This is from Unheard, by the way. This is by Sorab Armari. Yeah, of course. And he's rambling about how pot was legalized and all of a sudden people went crazy and started killing one another. Dude, I watched Reefer Madness high on weed years and years ago. And it was hysterical, let me tell you. You'll never have a better experience. Because it's so over the top. It's so exaggerated. It's so obsessive and anally retentive that it can't help but be funny. It becomes a comedy movie, basically, when you're high watching the movie about how getting high is going to magically turn you into a murderer or a rapist. You're going to run your car off the road into a tree and kill your girlfriend and all of these other terrible things. This is not reality land. Go through this article. I challenge you to do so. Archived link in the description. When you read through it, what do you notice? It probably, if your IQ is above room temperature, you're going to notice it fairly quickly. Speed read through it. What do you notice? In virtually all of these cases that are being mentioned, weed is bad, it shouldn't be legalized, it causes terrible things. You have underlying mental illness, or you have secondary drug usage, hard drugs, heroin, and things like that, or something along those lines. Or somebody was already criminal to begin with, they happen to have committed crimes, and simultaneously they were smoking weed. And there's no indicator that the weed caused them to commit the crime. Dude, when you smoke weed, what generally happens? You fall asleep. Or you eat a good meal. Something like that. Maybe you listen to some good music. Weed does not cause people to become violent. This is a mythology. The correlation with hard drug usage, by the way, is even more interesting. This is something that dates to the 1980s generally. In the 1980s, the Reefer Madness era had ended. People realized weed is not really a problem. So then they gravitated towards, well, it's a gateway drug. Turns out most of the people that were smoking weed, they were using that to reduce the symptoms of withdrawal from other drugs. So, hey, I was on that crack bender for the last couple of weeks, because the CIA gave me a bunch of crack, and I'm feeling real bad, so I'm smoking weed so that I can actually get some sleep and keep a meal down. That's basically what happened. The drug war is a goddamn joke, especially the war against marijuana. I've smoked a lot of it, believe it or not. Your own favorite sticks, used to use a lot of drugs, especially at UVM. Used LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, and the whole 9 yards. Never used hard drugs, but I did use psychedelics. I knew better than to use things like crack and heroin. And you shouldn't either, meth and things like that. Avoid them. And be careful, by the way, if you are smoking weed, make sure to get it from a trusted source so that you don't get it laced with fentanyl. Because that can actually happen. You are an idiot, a fucking retard if you take drugs from strangers. Just saying. Some people apparently do. That's a bad idea. If you can, Oh! Occult Priestess. Styx is as bright as Lucifer today. Thank you. Yeah, no, the sun is shining in directly. This time of year, I get great lighting, and it makes it nice and warm. And then you water the plants, and it gets nice and humid too. So it's a little bit like a greenhouse, actually, because I've got two big-ass windows. It's most of the front wall, and it's south-facing. Yeah, oh, I love it. Tarred and feathered. Nobody laces for free. You have to pay extra. Not always, unfortunately, because they will cut it with the fentanyl. This has actually happened. It's not common. You're probably not going to get free fentanyl in your weed, but I mean, why the hell would you want it in the first place? Holy shit. Girl with like, get it from Sleazy P. Martini. Yeah, I mean, if you get a crack from him, it'll be better than the Parmesan cheese that Hunter Biden is selling. He'll probably be reduced to selling it at some point instead of just ingesting it because his career is pretty much over, you know. The local Wendigo. Freeze dry some candy corn, crush it up and snort it. You're going to have to pay me a shit ton of money if you want me to snort candy corn. Copium poppies. Orange sticks bad. I'm having a great time. By the way, that song by Billy Idol that I was posting the other day, I've listened to that probably over 100 times. Bitter Taste. You should listen to it if you haven't heard it yet. Viking Woman 1988. My Dark Wave show expanded to WBCRLP in Great Burlington, Massachusetts. Now launching political show across the pond with a chaotic Brit. Ongoing bet, who gets cancelled or arrested first? Who knows? Can I come on your show? That would be fun. I mean, if it's... Oh, Barrington, not Burlington. Yeah, Massachusetts is just a stone's throw from here. Can I come on the show as be a guest or something? That would be fun. Oh, I see that Sarah is here. Yes, 6.2, that would be the proper length. Goodbye. One of my jilted exes, actually. She's on the warpath because she's retarded. Just saying. Vals 19. What's the stretch goal for you to eat surströmming? I have heard of it, and I would definitely eat it. One thing that I want is that fermented whale that they make in Iceland. What is it called? A hakarl, I believe it's called. I did buy it once, and I had it shipped. Unfortunately, by the time it got here, it was questionable as to whether it was edible. So I just had to get rid of it. I did have crowberry liquor, though. Extremely expensive, but rather tasty. Colold sticks as a censorious leftoid. No, it's just I'm tired of people hijacking the comment section to say weird shit. This is my comment section. If you want to say weird shit about me, that's perfectly fine. You can have other places to do that. Death toll rises to 128 in Hong Kong high-rise fire. Hope of finding survivors has dwindled, although you'll probably find some scattered ashen remains, with many residents of the densely packed Wang Fuck Court Apartments towers still unaccounted for. I believe the death toll, this was an older archived article, I believe the death toll did exceed 170. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. What's the death toll at now? I know it's beyond that. Yeah, it's at least at 150, unfortunately. And I wanted to talk about communists and their inability, apparently, to use fire control systems. Apparently, these high-rises... Now, Hong Kong, keep in mind, is a very, very developed area. It's basically one giant sprawling city. It's very first world. Lots of malls and shit like that. But then the communists took over Hong Kong a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden you have massive apartment fires. Could it be that the commies that are being employed to do the fire control systems simply don't know what the hell they're doing? That appears to be the case, actually. Copium puppies. Styx wants Hot Carl. No, Hot Carl. It's, in Iceland, and I have absolutely no idea how they invented the concept of doing this. They take certain sharks that are inedible. They're actually poisonous because they've got so much urea built up in them. If you ate it, you would probably get sick. You possibly would die. For some reason, they figured out that if you bury it in the gravel along the beach and let it ferment for weeks at a time, then hang it up, smoke it, and then let it basically almost rot, then it suddenly becomes edible. By the way, it smells heavily of ammonia. You might as well just take fish and dump a little ammonia in it. That's basically what you're getting. Some of it is driven off by the fermentation process, making it edible, but it was not particularly palatable. I promise to eat it someday. I would love to go to Iceland, by the way. Beautiful vistas, volcanoes, and everything else. And elves, and gnomes, and everything else paranormal. But the shark, it did not smell very good. Some people puke when they eat it. I might very well be one of them. And I have a cast iron stomach. Yes, we go to Wang Fuck. Oh yes, I see there's a bit of a raid going on. Happens all the time. It's interesting. People get obsessed with me, and then they think that I'm the one that has a problem. Including people that after years and years, sometimes almost a decade, have never even spoken with me, and all of a sudden randomly show up to talk shit about me. These people are pathetic. That's why I ignore them. Let's stick to the news. Something that's actually meaningful. Wisconsin divers reveal mysterious underwater parking lot of ancient canoes preserved for millennia. Lake Mendota Cache represents the only known collection of ancient canoes found in Wisconsin waters. This is something that's actually interesting, and I didn't know this when I was younger. When something sinks deep enough into the water, oftentimes it gets covered over in like sediment and shit like that, and it preserves it almost perfectly. These canoes are thousands of years old. You could, in theory, re-dig them very slightly, and they would look just as good as new, and you could actually sail them around. This was very, very interesting. They found 14 canoes in Madison's Lake Mendota so far, 6 of which were found this spring. The WHS worked with First Nations of Wisconsin during their research process. These are arguably 3,000 years old. They're still technically intact. This has been done with triremes, actually, as well. They found Roman triremes, and technically, if you were to refurbish them somewhat, they would probably still be seaworthy. Hilarious, don't you think? Also, there's an obelisk lying in the center of the Mediterranean that they've never managed to get out. Connect 200. Why doesn't Trump impeach Fed judges? In some cases, he does not have the ability to do this sort of thing. In some cases, he does. And he should be using his power more often, in my opinion. I do agree with many of you that Trump is not going far enough. I do agree. But he has to pick his battles. Pragmatically speaking, and he is a pragmatist, he has to pick and choose which fights he's actually going to have. So, yeah. Lorraine Psycho must be a gay tube raid. Oh, it's definitely a bunch of gay people and other various dross. And no, it has nothing to do with the quartering. I know exactly who's responsible for this nonsense. I antagonize them on purpose sometimes. It's pretty funny. Pseudonoid. I could be on any channel stirring the shit, but I choose to be here and stir shit. I'm very glad that you choose to stir shit on my channel. I appreciate that, actually. Trust me, I'm no stranger to online drama and trolling. I've done it plenty myself, and things like that. But I'm just here to report the news, pretty much. Maybe to listen to some music and shit. Afghan terror and Somalia fraud shows why Trump is right on migrants. By the way, this dovetails into an interesting story. Tim Walz is in some shit right now. It appears that there was a significant amount of fraud in Minnesota under his leadership with regards to Somali migrants. He has come out, and what's his defense? Donald Trump is being bigoted. He's being racist. Okay, so people came in from other countries. They defrauded the system to the tune of over $1 billion. And the only thing that you can think about is how to decry Donald Trump because he says, hey, this is a problem? The hell are you talking about, dude? When I saw that story, when I saw Tim Walz's response earlier today, I'm like, dude, are you fucking crazy? This makes absolutely no sense. Again, it's the tendency of the Uniparty to prioritize people from outside of the country over people that are literally paying taxes and shit like that. Citizens and lawful residents. Those are the people that you're paid to represent. Why are you trying to represent people from outside of the country and pretending that they're more important than me or most of you? It makes absolutely no sense. Pseudonoid, yeah, my @ is showing instead of as is everyone's for some reason. I don't know what you're referring to. Daniel Priceelf, watch your dick sucker with the whole retarded thing. Could land you in a morgue fridge, Donnie too. Well, you're a retard, so yeah. You will send me to the fucking morgue. Should I report you to the FBI? Oh, that's right, I'm not a pussy. Trust me, dude, I've been death threatened before thousands of times. You're not gonna do jack shit, bitch. Never gonna happen. The odds of you showing up to attack me are 0. Copium Poppy, shit stirring requires a spoon. I say it counts as clanking and clankery. Huh. I guess technically you're right. John 9A. Dusting of snow in the Ozarks creates drivers even worse than the legendarily bad Asian or clueless Indian. You should see Massachusetts drivers in general. It does not matter what race they happen to be. I don't know why people from Massachusetts never learned how to drive, but they are a menace on the roads. It's like, I don't like going out when there's even a little bit of snow, because if somebody with a Massachusetts license plate comes up behind you, you might get wiped out and die. Copium Poppies, retard's gonna retard. True. Pseudonoid, you get honorary clanker status. That other dude there, meanwhile, go ahead and make death threats against me, dude. Seriously, you think you can take me? Good luck. That would be really, really, really funny. It would also give me an opportunity to, well, you know. Crispy, should property taxes be abolished? Absolutely, Crispy. I 100% agree with the concept. Property taxes means you're paying rent to the government. They shouldn't exist. You own a property. Okay, it's yours. You shouldn't have to pay anyone anything. How is that different from rent? It's exactly the same fucking thing. It's retarded. Occult Priestess, after Thanksgiving trolling party? Every day is a trolling party on this channel, Missy. Yeah, I love it when people make death threats against me. It brings up old times. I wish that he would threaten me further. Don't worry, you're not going to get any legal trouble for, threatening to shoot me or stab me or something. Because I know that you're all a bunch of pussies and you're never actually going to do jack shit. It's never going to happen. That 1x account. There you go. Oh God, John. Are we jelking off in the comments? Now, I will get to more news. I have a good time doing the Vance thing too. Yeah, I agree with Donald Trump because when we look at the Tim Walz story, the problem is this. Tim Walz basically didn't do anything about the fraud, the blatant fraud, by the way, to the tune of, again, over $1 billion taxpayer dollars in Minnesota. Well, I mean, since money is fungible and you're getting federal funding, that means that some of my tax money went to sponsor terrorists in the state of Minnesota. That pisses me off. No shit, it shouldn't be happening. So then he comes out, and his only response is more racism. Well, Tim Walz, I mean, your face looks like a cunt to me. Literally, you look like that dude from Florida. I can't even remember his goddamn name. Actually, he's done a good job since then. If you took his mouth and inverted it 90 degrees, it looked an awful lot like a vagina. Same is true of you. Copium poppies. Income tax being abolished should be prioritized over property taxes. Generally, state and local does the property taxes, so getting rid of the income tax, which is federal, would be much easier. Yeah, it'd have to be replaced with other income sources, but property taxes should not exist. The idea that you have to perpetually pay rent to the state government really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So in other words, you're not a homeowner. You're a renter. It's just that the renter is the state instead of a private entity. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, it affects rental prices too, because you still have to pay that same property tax even if you're renting it out to another person. This is anti-capitalistic. I believe that the income tax and property taxes should both be removed completely. Copium poppies plus income tax harms more people. It's not like landlords will lower the rent when they no longer have to pay taxes. Landlords only raise rent. Arguable. No, the government doesn't need more income, they need less. Agreed, completely, absolutely. I have a feeling that pretty much everyone agrees with that, left, right, and center. It's just they disagree on how to reform the system. Concentrated juice. Capitalism should be removed. No, I think we need much more capitalism, actually. Barack Obama. His pronouns are pro-lapsed. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Daniel Price-Elf is trying to get himself FBI'd at this point. And if assholes like Kennedy don't stop spewing complete bullshit about it, he's gonna be having a reunion with his daddy and uncle real fucking soon. Dude, threatening me does not impress me. And I do not care if you do so. You're currently threatening a member of the U.S. government at the highest level of the cabinet. I'm not going to report you, but somebody else may very well do so. I suggest that you relent. That's not a good idea. I know that you're full of shit and that you don't mean any harm to anyone, and you're just mouthing off. You're just an asshole, a bitch. You can be a prison bitch, though. So, I suggest that you calm down a little. Meisner Flux. Castle Clank is watched over by a crayon eater NCO. I pity the fool who tries to breach those walls. Yeah, it would be a bad idea to try to attack this particular structure. Superstar bad. Who you talking to? That one moron there that, Daniel Price-Elf. He keeps making vague threats, apparently terroristic in nature at this point. You're making a mistake. I'm trying to help you. Although you do not deserve it. Yeah, they should both, copium poppies, they should both be abolished, but income tax should be the priority. Honestly, I would rather abolish the property tax before the income tax. If you truly own your property, you can make it make money for you. But if you have to pay the government for literally everything you fucking do on the property and you have 10,000 regulations, it becomes a little bit more difficult. Viking Woman. I did get a ticket for reckless driving last month in Virginia. It's hilarious. Honestly, I didn't think my driving was that bad. I even snarked to the officer, well, now we drive like this in my state. Yeah, I mean, they're probably definitely better than the average Massachusetts driver. Just saying. Copium Poppies. You should put his username on screen. That's not a good idea, because then you can get banned. No, it's just this elf dude. Daniel Price Elf. With a 1 instead of an L for the elf. Don't worry, queerbait, I'll fucking dirt nap you too. Yeah, you're not gonna do shit, dude. Fucking pussy. Come on. Come to the house, come visit me and see what happens. It won't be a good time for you. You think that I'm intimidated by goddamn anyone in this fucking world? Yeah, that's... Look at the way that I dress. Whatever, you're worthless. Human plague. Will technology save us from a nuclear attack? Briefly covered that this morning. This is about Golden Dome. Here's my problem. I support the basic idea of the United States being able to defend against missiles and things like that. It's a good idea. But the problem is Iron Dome, which would be outclassed by Golden Dome, I suppose, guards a very, very small area of land. I don't believe that Israel even has the same land region as Vermont. In fact, I'll look that up in a second here while I'm speaking. Israel land area. Land surface. 8,500 square miles. What's Vermont's land area? I believe it's bigger than that. Yeah, 9,200. So, similar size, quite. If you were to try to incept a similar missile and air interception system over the United States, which is vast, you'd be spending several $1 trillion. That's just to implement it. The problem that I identified earlier is ship attack. So let's say that an enemy navy manages to penetrate, or saboteurs manage to penetrate. Well, then you have maintenance costs and everything else under the sun. If part of it is taken out, then it can't even work. The range is limited, although you could set up, potentially hundreds of sites along the border. So how are you going to maintain that? Where's the money going to come from? I don't want to have to fucking pay for that. In the end, if a nuclear war happens, everyone loses anyway. And if it's not a nuclear war, nobody's going to attack us. They don't have the capability. The militia can handle it. We control most of a continent. A very large chunk of the North American continent belongs to us. There are hundreds of millions of militia members. Plus, you've got the military. Plus, you've got all the other toys that make the noise. Good luck. It's never going to happen, dude. So there's really no reason to have that kind of defensive system. If anything, what they should do, this is my suggestion, install a similar system, something roughly equivalent, on every U.S. aircraft carrier. That way, we can export our air power anywhere in the world, and they will be protected against anti-ship missiles and rocket fire and things of that nature. Because if you lose an aircraft carrier, shit, you just lost like $1 billion or something like that. Copium Poppies. Daniel Price Elf, like that? Yes. Although there's a hyphen in there too. Yeah, he's making terroristic threats against me and RFK Jr. at the moment. You do realize that you're breaking federal law, correct? You do realize that, right? I don't give a shit if you threaten me because you're a pussy and you won't do anything, but you're currently threatening a cabinet member in the White House. The hell is wrong with you, dude? Just threaten me, go back to entertaining me. I find it amusing. You're gonna get yourself a fucking arrested, dude. The hell is wrong with you? Yeah, here's the username for anyone that wants to see it. Do not report him. He's not going to do jack shit. He's no threat to anyone. But you're still breaking federal law. There we go. What the hell is wrong with you? Daniel Priceoff, what's your mother's address? 444 Chisana Drive, Rutland, Vermont, 05701. Come and get me. I want to write the bitch a complaint letter for not being born sterile. At least you have a sense of humor. Oh my god. Dude, if you're threatening RFK Jr., and somebody does report you, trust me, it won't be me, you could end up in federal fucking prison for the next 10 years. I would be careful if I was you. Jesus H. Christ. How many retards were born in this world? Kim Alley. Off topic, but requesting a protection against the Bible thumpers trapped and tried to force salvation upon me this week. I can do that. Yeah, these days, mostly it's Muslims that are trying to convert. Like I said this morning, I go on Twitter, right? Sometimes I do it on the desktop, and sometimes I do it on my phone. Desktop, I don't see any of this religious nonsense. I see the Krasensteins and a few things like that. By the way, I'm going to crucify him tomorrow. I forgot to do that this morning. My apologies, everyone. It would have been a funny video. I'll get to it tomorrow. But mostly it's Islam. It's like, oh, Islam is the most rational religion. Islam is so great. You know, Islam stands for truth and stuff like that. It's just platitudes, and they're mindless. It's literally convert seeking. And then you get the liberal stuff, which is like, oh, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. It's very, very repetitive. So when I go on my phone, Twitter is only really useful for me making posts. It's not useful for me gleaning any information from anyone else who's posting. I don't even see the people following me. I go to my followers page and I can't even see them half the time. I haven't seen a post by Razor Fist of the Quartering in months. You know, people that I actually follow, that I want to interact with. But it never happens. And keep in mind, Twitter is one of the better platforms. Johnny Hoyle, 6390. Years ago, we toured your part of Vermont. They had the quarries running. Very tough dudes worked those quarries. No one messed with them. Yeah, I know. We've got a great marble quarry here. Actually, it was funny. When the quarrying in Italy generally ended, a bunch of Italians moved to Rutland, actually. The Catholic Church and many other structures that have been made in the city are made with marble. Very high quality marble from the quarry west of here. I've been there before. Their bathrooms, by the way, look like something you'd see in Trump Tower. They're spectacular, actually. I've gone to the marble quarry, actually, before and toured it. It's very, very interesting because our city was built by a bunch of marble quarrying Italians. And so you've got the Italian American Club and all of this other stuff. This is an Italian city more than anything else. It's actually hysterical. So yeah, the mafia is active here. Go ahead, fuck with me, see what happens. Somebody's trying to call me. No, I'll take care of that in a minute. Copium Poppies, how? He super chatted. Yeah, I didn't get to that one, sorry. Sometimes it zooms down to the bottom, or it just stays in stasis, on Rumble I mean, and it becomes a problem. Swamp Donkey! We need to end Hart-Celler Act, reinstate the 1700s Immigration Act. Venezuelan war is stupid, but I do get the narco-terror aspect. Monroe Doctrine, baby! Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I do support the Monroe Doctrine. I think we should keep to our own hemisphere, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you haul off and randomly do airstrikes in another nation when you don't really need to do it. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and things could go very, very wrong. Copium Poppies, don't report him on platform, or do so. It creates a paper trail along with the super chats, but he should most definitely be reported to law enforcement if he does act on his threats. Well, I mean, he died, so I'm not particularly, I don't give a shit. Pseudanoid, that message is me sending you occult midget porn, Sticks. It's hysterical. Daniel, I realize that you're just trolling. So. Yeah, people troll me all the time. It's all good. Occult Priestess. My city was built on rock and roll. Love that song, by the way. We built this city. Yeah. Bobby, Sticks, are you scared of the elf guy? No, considering the fact that he's dumb enough to have physically, terroristically threatened RFK Jr., no, I think that he's retarded. So I'm not particularly scared of retards. I'm not riding the short bus, you know? I gave him my goddamn address. Come ahead and meet me. You hate me that much. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage going to Christmas party at Ralph's on the park. Oh, yeah. Hopefully they'll be serving the crawfish bisque you've spoken so highly of. If they have it, get it. If not, get the turtle soup. They're both very, very, very good. Well, all their food's good, so it doesn't really matter. Copium Poppies, you said you could get in trouble for showing his username earlier. That was what I was referring to. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a technicality. But if somebody is publicly posting on my live stream, I'm pretty sure that YouTube allows you to post their comment because you can post their comment. Like we're going to post Bobby Bobinson. I wish I got in earlier, he says. Yeah, you were a later tater today. What's wrong with you? Don't you know you're on a schedule? If you're going to troll me, you gotta stick to your schedule, my dude. No, in case he acts on the threat, if you report him and they do nothing, they can be held liable. I'm not going to report him at all. I've been threatened thousands of times over the years. And I do mean thousands of times. I've had people say they're going to rape me, kill me, burn my house down, rape my mother, all sorts of crazy shit under the sun. Nothing has ever happened. The only thing that ever happened was somebody paintballed the house, but I think that was just the local teenagers. They probably did it to every other house on the street too, so, you know. Cololds. Hashtag Mod Bobby. I'm almost wanting to do so. That would probably destroy the chat entirely, though, so I'll hold back for now. At some point, though, I'm going to troll everyone. I'm going to mod all the people that hate me, and they're going to ban everyone from chat, and then it'll just collapse the entire live stream. Then I'll have to, you know, obviously unban them. That would be funny. Oh man, that would be so fun. Maybe I'll do that for April Fool's Day. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. April Fool's Day, Bobby Bobinson, this elf dude, and others, they all become mods. And I unban everyone from the channel, so that the handful of people that are real bad spammers, they'll be in there too. Haha, that'd be funny. Doug209, Sticks? Yes, indeed, it is Sticks. Yeah, Cololds will become a mod too, and Pseudanoid, I'll make you a mod. I'm just going to let you run roughshod, just for one single day. That would be so fun. Yeah. Concentrated Juice, is the casino after you or what? I know for some reason they have a problem with me, I don't know. I don't pay attention to their content. It's irrelevant to me. Cunt 19360, mod me. I'm not modding anyone today. But, yeah. That'd be funny. That's a good idea. It'd have to be pre-planned, though, because I have to, of course, unmod the people after April Fool's Day. So, yeah. Gives me another reason to live yet another year. I love this guy. Spunk Donkey. We built this city on cock and hole. Yeah, that's how every city was built, generally. Anyways, I'm going to go offline now. I've been having a great time. This was in my opinion, a really great live stream. I do have some work to do. I have to cash a check. I have to do a little shopping, and then I have to also cook. And it's already 2:20, so, you know, I should probably get to it at some point. So, yeah. I will be going out briefly, and then I'm going to be cooking scallop potatoes, actually, which I've made before, but I've never used. It's called a mandolin or something like that. And, you know, you drag the potato across it and it slices it up perfect. Yeah, I guess it's adjustable. Copium poppies. You should make Last Beacon King mod that day. Yeah, I'm going to make Last Beacon. Well, I'll make you a mod too, Copium. You won't troll as much. But we're going to take all the people that hate me and make them mods just for one day. That sounds like fun. Meanwhile, Daniel the Elf is threatening members of, you know, the presidential cabinet. Again, that's not a good idea. Threatening me will get you no response other than amusement. Threatening to give a dirt map to RFK Jr. is not necessarily the most wise thing in the world. Because then if somebody does anything to him, oh boy, during that investigation, you're going to get questioned. That'll be hilarious. So yeah, I'm going to go offline, and I will be doing some stuff. I will be back tomorrow with more hard-hitting news and much more funny bants, of course, because that's basically why this channel exists. Dude, if it's not for my own amusement, what the hell am I doing with my life? I don't want a sucky job where I have to sit there and be boring, wearing a suit. No, go to the water cooler. Hey, did you see the Giants game today? Yeah, no thank you. Not capable of living that kind of lifestyle. Take care, everyone. That's about all.